that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 947. Hello, it is Mike Matthews. Haley is here too, broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Today, we have part 2 of my 3-part interview with TYLER YARBROUGH of the band GNARLY Men. Plus, we hear from Floyd the Floorman, Chely Shoehart,
Mike's Daily Podcast,
John Deere the engineer, and I am going to pass gas.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
No, I'm kidding. I won't do that. I'm not going to subject you to that. This is my song. I didn't write lyrics beforehand, so drat! I can't think of anything to rhyme with the next line. I hope you don't mind. We're a little bit silly from time to time. I like orange rinds. I'm going to grind
Mike's Daily Podcast.
some coffee beans.
No, you're not. We have K-Cups.
We have K-Cups. Yay!
Mike's
Daily
Podcast.
Podcast.
Oh man,
Yeah!
I should have done the "That's me in the corner."
That's a
me
good thing to do. Like,
when I don't have lyrics. I should have just done that.
right.
Oh,
After the second Mike's Daily Podcast, I think. I don't remember when it comes around. Hey, welcome to Mike's Daily Podcast, the only podcast specifically called Silly by TYLER YARBROUGh.
yeah. What was that about? So now I'm all like self-conscious about our silliness.
Why?
I mean, I like silly. I've always liked silly. You and I have had long discussions about the Muppet Show and John Cleese, Monty Python, etc.
And Isaac Asimov.
Yeah, he had a joke book.
He had a giant... It was not... That's the thing. It was a collection of jokes.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't a joke book in the traditional sense of, ha ha ha, this is hilarious.
Yeah, those little paperback ones that are like
Right.
maybe 500 jokes or something.
Where it's like 101 jokes about cows.
Right,
I
yeah.
had that one. It was good.
I can't think of any cow jokes right now, though.
Well, let me steer you in the right direction.
Is it cow? Yeah, I guess that works.
Yep, there you go.
Look at you.
Yeah. Cows jokes are really easy because you get started on them and you just milk it for all it's worth.
Oh, that tickles me in the cow rib. See, that I can't do it. That gets me in the udder. No, that's utterly good.
There you go.
Oh.
See, you got it.
Ding, ding.
There's only like 4 cow puns. There's utterly, steer, hoofing it, milking for all it's worth. If you can get some sort of a Jersey pun in there, that's impressive because the Jersey cow.
Oh, okay. Maybe you have moved me to explore my cow joke. That wasn't funny.
There you go. See, it's that simple. Cow jokes aren't funny. Anyway,
Isaac Asimov.
This book, which is as thick as a dictionary, and I'm not making this up, it's as thick as a dictionary, is a collection of all these different jokes organized into categories based on like what style of joke, whether they're anticlimactic jokes or there's a section entirely for Jewish jokes because Isaac Asimov was Jewish.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, and each of these jokes had specific commentary about situational uses and how joke telling as a culture, and when people get together and do the banter and tell each other different jokes and things, how it worked and how to go about making sure that your jokes had the biggest impact. It was very strange.
I've got to read this book.
I'll find it and lend it to you.
Thank you. It sounds like it could create a comedian out of anyone if they read it.
But it wasn't about stand-up or anything at all.
Just, but humor and making people laugh.
It was about, the jokes that you just sit around and you're like, hey, you want to hear a joke? And then you go off telling a joke. One of the jokes I remember was in the anticlimactic section because he was explaining specifically on how humor cannot just come from a distinct punchline, but from a lack of what you would expect and from people in the joke taking something out of proportion. And the joke goes, "Did you hear about Fred? He fell down the stairs and died. Oh my gosh, that's such a shame. Yeah, and he broke his glasses too."
Aha! The unexpected left turn.
Yes.
I always think of comedy and punchlines as in terms of physics and about atomic theory and about how you have the the proton is the what's the one? You have the nucleus inside the atom.
The nucleus, which has the neurons and the protons.
Neurons? No, neurons are in your body. Right, the connection. Neutrons. That's it.
Which is the neutral, and then the protons are in the nucleus.
Neutron, proton, electron.
The electrons are orbiting.
Right now, if you take an electron and if you move the electron out of orbit, you take an electron away from an atom,
then it'll become unstable,
and it releases a photon, and that's like light.
That's radioactivity.
Oh. I need to read a physics book again. Anyway, something like that. That's to me like a punchline. A punchline, you're expecting the flow, then all of a sudden it's gone, and that energy has to go somewhere, and it goes into your laugh.
I always figured that punchlines either setups or punchlines can be optional, depending on the joke. For instance, knock knock.
Who's there?
You.
See, that made me laugh. I am there. Wherever I go, there I am. Interesting. So take that silliness label
to the bank.
And we're now...
And open up a safety deposit box. And say, I want to deposit Mike's daily podcast in this deposit box.
Deposit cast box.
Yeah. And then they'll be like, why did you pause before each of those words? And you'll be like, what do you mean? And they said about the podcast. And you'll say, you mean Mike's daily podcast?
Oh.
And they will say yes. And then you will just confuse people at the bank. Mike's daily.
Yeah, so we're getting a little philosophical on today's show or something. Oh, interesting thing, Germans. I've known a lot of Germans in my life.
Growing up German.
Around them. Yeah. Ja. Und when Germans talk about comedy, it's so true. It's like they break it down. Like when you say something funny, I don't think they have a word for pun. They call that word like a working word. When oh yes, you have made a working word. When you say something like
so that's like their word for wordplay?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I guess similar. Okay.
Yeah. That's all a pun is. It's clever wordplay. Or not clever wordplay, and it makes people angry.
The podcast picture today actually has the Brewmaster and then we're talking about Oktoberfest a little bit, and he's got a big root beer mug. And I don't know, is Oktoberfest still going on?
No, I think Oktoberfest was like in the end of August.
No, September, I think.
September?
I think so.
Septemberfest.
And he's looking it up on his super fast phone.
Ready?
What are you doing with all those videos that you take of me and those pictures is what I want to know.
I let them just kind of develop cobwebs in my phone.
Oh, okay. There are little spiders in your phone?
It happens.
Look who just walked in.
September 19th.
What? Oh my god.
September 19th.
I hear whispers. Look at my face.
It's September 19th.
What is that? Oh my god, that's like Haley talking.
September 19th.
Haley, how are you doing? It's Chely Shoehart. Oh my god, here's your croissant.
Oh, thanks.
He's eating the croissant now, as you can hear, because this is radio / podcasting / talkcasting.
We're a talk show. We're the #1 joke talk show in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Why, that's exactly true.
So give me your opinion about the classic, why did the chicken cross the road?
That's a very good question. I believe the chicken crossed the road And I know this because I am a well-paid radio disc jockey air personality to get to the other side.
That is an interesting theory.
I am well paid. My hair is nicely coiffed. I tend to have people drive me to my locations that I need to be at.
I tend to my garden and water it lots, even though we're in a drought, because I'm rich.
I am so happy that this show is not silly.
It's about time we had a serious discussion involving these so-called comedy bits.
I think these bits should be taken out of context and put in a jar.
I think the only place bits belong are in a horse's mouth.
I would have to say to that, nay.
Nay to you, good sir.
I would, one of the things that I was really happy about when I wasn't in radio for like 3 years was getting away from the egos.
Yeah.
I worked in Alabama with a morning show guy, had the biggest dang ego. I could not understand it.
It's honestly the worst part of any job you go into.
Exactly. I mean, it's not just in radio.
Yeah.
It's all over.
But it gets amplified in performance art.
Yeah.
Or performance type things. Public speaking, public broadcasting, private broadcasting. That would be television or radio or podcasting.
True. Anyway, Chely Shoehart, how are things going with you and the Brewmaster?
We broke up.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, he's just like really stupid, and lately he's been getting violent.
That is true.
Yeah, he has been.
He's been very violent.
Oh, look who just walked in. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman! And this is John Deere, the engineer. Haley, I hear you threw coffee on my true love Floyd yesterday.
I said splash. What other sound effects were added onto my word to make me look bad is entirely out of my control. Also, there was coffee in my hand and it spilled all over your boyfriend.
I think that pretty much clears it up, John Deere. I'm very confused right now, but actually atomic theory is my forte. Would you like me to explain everything that you were getting wrong earlier? No. Floyd, apologies to you, and I hope you replace those... well, I'll help you replace those shirts. That Haley...
Shirts?
Several shirts that he wore that you threw coffee on.
Do you wear multiple shirts at the same time?
I do! I'm wearing 17 right now, look!
God, it's so warm. How do you do that?
I'm very cold.
Oh.
Guys, we were talking about me and how I broke up with the Brewmaster.
Okay, that's fine, Chely. Anyway.
What happened? Oh no.
Look who else just walked in. Third door opening sound effect.
Hello there, Mike. I make the root beer. I'm the Brewmaster. Oh, boy.
Brewmaster, you've lost Chely. How do you feel?
What? What just happened?
Your violent ways, your aggressive ways.
Brewmaster, you've just lost your girlfriend. What do you have to say?
I made a delicious root beer in honor of Oktoberfest.
Fascinating. And now back to you, Mike.
Well, it appears that no love is lost. Or maybe love is never lost because all energy is conserved. Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. Isn't that right, John Deere? Okay, you completely messed that one up too. I'm very smart and you guys aren't. Ego bell, ding ding ding. Okay,
We should get an ego bell.
would it sound like wah, like an eagle? Ego. What's that sound? It sounds like a cup being hit by your fingernail.
That's exactly what it was. I'm glad that you can't have eyes.
This show's dedicated to Tyler Yarbrough because Tyler told us the show is not silly enough. And today we have upped the silliness 50,000%. So thank you for listening to our silly show. And Tyler, is going to play some more guitar for us. And
He's good.
He is.
He's good.
He was like I said, I wish I had a video going because his guitars are so beautiful that he's custom made and added shiny starburst thingies to.
Yeah, I didn't get to see them, but they sound beautiful. Mother of pearl and whatnot.
I would like to now tell you that our website is mikesdailypodcast.com.
The website is mikesdailypodcast.com or mikeblogs.tumblr.com or mikesdailypodcast.tumblr.com or facebook.com/mikesdailypodcast or soundcloud.com/mikesdailypodcast.
Wow, Haley, you know where everything is.
That's not where everything is.
Haley, Ariel at the end of the show should mention you because you contribute a lot to the show.
I don't mind.
That was recorded years ago when Haley used to live with us. I mean, Ariel. I'm getting all these names mixed up.
No, hold on a second.
Haley never lived with me.
No.
Although, you like maple syrup.
I do like maple syrup.
So
I prefer honey.
Okay. But they're both kind of natural little products of nature.
That's true.
Only the honey is out of like an insect.
That's true. And maple syrup is trees crying. Or like trees with bad allergies.
Oh, okay. Interesting. When I put maple syrup in my coffee, which is what I am want to do.
I love that word. It's so that one and like aft, which is a similar like kind of usage.
Use it in your usage. Because all I know is in the boat. He went to the stern,
and the aft, yeah. But yeah, it's like you're aft to do something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or maybe it's apt.
Apt? Maybe it's apt.
There's apt and aft. I don't know if
feel
there's any difference in usage.
I feel an aft in this room.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an aft.
So thank you for telling everyone where they can. Oh, and there's the Amazon link if you want to help contribute and you're going to buy something on Amazon. Go through that link.
That's going to be on mikesdailypodcast.com.
mikesdailypodcast.com. And finally, with PayPal. And
but there's also like Spreaker, Ameristream Live, Podomatic, Mixcloud. We put the show originally on Dropbox, but you're going to have to either follow us on Facebook or go to mikesdailypodcast.com to get that link. Because it changes every day. And that's if you want to download the show. If you do want to download the show and like make fun of us by stringing our words together to say ridiculous things.
Oh, has anyone done that yet?
I don't think so. Or if you want to make a dubstep remix. I would adore if someone made a dubstep remix.
Oh, that would be awesome. We will totally play it on the show.
Yeah.
If you do it.
Yeah.
What a compliment that would be. Even if it was insulting.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Bring the beat back.
So, do you think everybody, since we're a society that just believes in broadcasting, we're all broadcasters, we're either tweeting, or Instagramming, Facebooking, that, like, do you think everybody's podcasting? Or do you think people are expressing themselves in the same sort of way we are?
No, because not everyone has a podcast, and most of the people that do have a podcast, especially unless they're like have like big podcasts or podcasts with like a purpose that a lot of people listen to, they're mostly douchebags like us. And they're
no.
Hey man, listen to my podcast.
Oh my gosh!
All right.
I told you this. I forgot to tell our listeners this, but I got catcalled on the street the other day.
What?
Yeah, a guy. Like, I was waiting at the bus stop.
You didn't tell me this.
I did, but I told you in a different way.
Oh, okay.
So I was waiting at the bus stop. And this guy pulls up.
Yeah.
He rolls down his window, and he like leans out and he says, "Hey, do you like Morrissey?" And I'm like, "No."
I would have said yes, but go ahead. I love his
The Cure. Not really.
I would have said yes to that too, but go ahead.
Depeche Mode, kinda. And And I guess, like,
I love Depeche Mode.
the accumulation of his efforts was he wanted to tell me to look up his band. So I wish I had actually remembered the name of the band, because I could have passed it on to you and we could have had an interview with
I would have interviewed him.
But I was just so shocked that someone was just asking, like, the first band they asked to promote their band was, hey, do you like Morrissey? Which tells me that they're a colossal tool.
Morrissey's awesome.
He's boring to me.
You know what? I think you're like rejecting. I guess Morrissey reached a certain demo, maybe.
Yeah.
That you didn't really care for.
I don't usually.
I like a couple. What's the song I really love? Is that Every Day Is Like Sunday is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or Hairdresser on Fire. Or no, I am the last of the famous international playboys.
International love. That's Pitbull, featuring Chris Brown.
Was there this kind of beat to it? Dum 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 or thump 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 or something like that?
I think there's more of a dun 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 dun.
Oh, that's a good beat.
No, that's Don't Stop the Party, which is another very good Pitbull song.
All right, before we get before we get to the Tyler Yarbrough interview, which is coming up very soon, maybe we'll get to it in 25 minutes from the beginning of the show. Who knows? But I did go to Livermore on Sunday. I forgot to mention this. Downtown Livermore, and I don't know what was going on, but there were all these guys with their baseball hats turned around, and all of them are yelling and like they're cursing out their girlfriends, and they're just being jerks. And I don't know what's going on in Livermore. But then the other half of Livermore is all these people sitting outside, enjoying the cafes, having wine. Livermore was odd to me on Sunday. But I love Livermore. It was just, I don't know why.
I don't go to Livermore enough. Pleasanton and Livermore. Pleasanton's nice too.
Yeah.
It's very pleasant.
I just don't understand the backward baseball hat thing. Oh, and beards.
Backward baseball hats and
Young
beards.
people with big beards and baseball
The
hats.
huge beards?
Yeah, like where they're trying to be like the Giants or something like that. Okay, now on with the interview. Thank you for listening to the first part of our wonderful show where we talked about various.
What did we talk about? Jokes.
We won't review everything. Just
And now a montage. Let's look back at our wonderful achievements.
I run a radio station in San Francisco.
Mike's daily podcast.
I'm picking up with the Brewmaster.
I wear multiple shirts. You guys have your physics all wrong. Morrissey sucks.
Well, wow, that was a wonderful montage. I'm so glad we decided to look back at our past accomplishments.
Oh, Haley, you just... I'm sorry, Haley, I don't have you at the end of the show. Damn, Ariel.
On to the interview.
Okay, and Mike, it's also Mike on mobile, because I was in a mobile place.
Mike on mobile. Into an interview.
Mike Matthews, Mike's Daily Podcast, Mike on Mobile. I'm speaking with Tyler Yarbrough. He's an amazing surf guitarist, guitar maker, and he also sells beer. Well, he gave me a beer, and so this is a very interesting interview. What is this song you're playing?
This is Catavenia. Catavenia was really one of the first that I came up with in that that period of not knowing what I was going to do next. It really came to me in the sort of loneliness of the desert, and you go out into the desert and you feel the loneliness of the desert, and then in that you find that liberation that happens when suddenly you're not lonely, you're empowered to be alone.
like a happy tumbleweed rolling by.
Yeah, maybe a little stolen from Lindsey Buckingham, but
Did you ever see him in concert?
never did, but I've always been a fan of that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm hearing, what's a Fleetwood Mac song? What?
The Chain.
Listen to the wind blow. Yeah.
The Chain. I think that's probably
And if you
The
don't
Chain.
know me now. Yeah. I think we need to talk about your garage and the mural.
Okay.
So somebody airbrushed. What kind of car is that? It's like an old style.
It's a 1949 Mercury James Dean Special. So they call it that because he drove one. This one was completely modified. I mean, Cadillac front ends and, the bullet lights and the skirts and all that stuff. And the car itself was here when I bought the house, and it just blew my mind when I walked into the garage for the first time. It's like this multiple trophy winning hot rod lowrider, 49 Merc.
And you're like, does this come with the house?
He said, everything's for sale. I didn't quite have that kind of beans, I don't think. But he had enough ego to have the car immortalized on the wall of my garage, and I urged him to leave it.
Yeah, it's such a colorful. Just think of those T-shirts that have that airbrushed with the car on the front. I can't think of that kind of style. There's actually a naked girl in the mural, but you have her hidden right now with some wetsuit. Do you surf?
I dive. I'm a diver.
You're a diver.
Abalone diver, scuba diver. Anytime I can get in the water, body surfer. Anytime I can get in the water, I just never learned to stand up on a board. Abalone diving is a specifically California sport.
Okay.
It's only legal from the Golden Gate North, and it's very, 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 very strictly regulated by the Department of Fish and Game. The rules are very strict.
Wow.
But the cool bit is you get in the ocean, hold your breath, and snorkel down to 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever you're capable of, and look for lunch.
No, don't sign me up for that. That's just, wow. But I bet lunch is delicious.
Looking for lunch in all the wrong places. That's us. Yeah, no, abalone is a wonderful, wonderful dish, and it's best shared with friends, of course. So we used to do these massive dives where we'd get, 7, 8 abalone divers and a bunch of home brewers together. We'd go up to the North Coast, and the home brewers would all set up camp, and they'd start cooking all the side dishes and all that stuff. We'd go ab diving. We'd come back with all the abalone and pound it all out and fry it all up and have a big abalone feed and beer festival.
Oh, that sounds so good. Why the name Gnarly Men?
Well, that was actually suggested by our previous drummer, Doug Ashcraft. Doug and I have been buddies for a very long time. He's also in the beer industry. He works for Drake's Brewing Company.
And I should say you do too. Do we want to say your company?
I'm with Hermitage Brewing Company of San Jose.
Which makes a fine beer that I'm drinking right now. Thank you so much for this beer. What was this one I'm having again?
This is part of our single hop series. This is a single hop IPA made with a Galaxy hop. And we just got that in at the brewery, so I wanted to pour you the freshest possible.
And that Hermitage does. What was the thing with the hop that you just have the same recipe, but each hop is different for each beer?
Exactly.
And the H is the same, but different colors.
Exactly.
The logo on the front.
You got it.
And this is so good. Oh. And anyway, Gnarly Men. Oh, continue with your story with the.
Well, Gnarly Men kind of stuck. Naming a band sucks because nobody wants to actually put a name on something and put a stake in the ground and say this is who we are.
Yeah.
Well, so we wiggled around with a bunch of different names and all of that stuff, and Doug came up with Gnarly Men, and we all looked around the room and went, we're pretty gnarly, aren't we? And the joke really is that, gnarly is a phrase that can mean really, really good, or it can be really, really bad.
Oh, yeah. Like that was a gnarly wave that just broke my neck.
Exactly, and we are pretty much both.
Where do you got any dates coming up where people can see you?
At the moment, we're working on some originals. We've got my new bass player, Jonathan, came up with a whole bunch of complicated and really funny, amusing original tunes. And
wow.
he put all these together on GarageBand and just dropped them on us. And we're like, what? What have you been doing? Where did this all come from? So we're all trying to kind of get a sense of getting those built. At the moment, we've got about 2 hours worth of our originals and some classics. So we're ready to do some gigs. We'd love to do some gigs. The problem is a lot of these gigs are 4 hours. I don't know that anybody's going to dig 4 hours of surf music.
Sounds good to me.
So we're looking for gigs that are a little shorter, 2-3 hours, something like that, where we can put together the classics that people expect to hear that really transport them to that Southern California beach scene in the 60s, and then give them, a sense of who we are in the more modern surf era, because surf music has evolved. And in fact, that might be a great conversation here.
How has it evolved, Tyler?
Well, what happened was in about 1964, surf music was at its pinnacle, and the whole surf scene in Southern California was just huge. The Ventures, Dick Dale, all of those guys were just really packing them in the ballrooms and the pier out in the Huntington Beach Pier. Everybody was stomping to surf music and Dick Dale. The Beach Boys took that in a whole other direction. The Beach Boys added vocals and took it into the pop genre. So don't confuse the Beach Boys with what the instrumental surf thing did. Anyway, all of a sudden, here come the Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
The Beatles and the Stones, the Mercy Beat, as they called it, came to America. Surf music died.
Oh, darn you, Beatles. Why couldn't you use more surf guitar in your songs?
I mean, died. Most forms of music continue on sooner or later through an underground movement, which is exactly what happened. There's a chap by the name of John Blair who has a band today called John Blair and the Night Riders, who had the most extensive collection of surf music records anywhere on the planet. And in fact, his book is fantastic on surf music. He kept it alive, underground. Along comes Quentin Tarantino in 1989.
Oh, yeah, he used Miserlou.
He used a bunch of these copyrighted surf tunes that were now all part of, there's no trademarks anymore. They're all expired trademarks. So he could safely just take those songs and add those to his movie and not pay anybody any royalties. How slick is that?
Oh, I had no idea that was happening.
And boom, surf music is reborn. However, at the same time, punk was huge.
Yeah.
So the punkers picked up on surf. A whole new generation picked up on this surf sound and started adding their own influences. 20, 30 years later, we've got surf music that has all kinds of influences.
Thank you, Tyler Yarbrough, for that quick little walk through the history of surf music. And so you are you're a surf band, but you've also added a lot of your own sort of thing. Like Catavina is inspired by the desert. And I'm going to play the studio version in just a moment. But yeah, I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Catavina, in part, was inspired by a trip that I took down to Baja. Okay. And right down the middle of the Baja Peninsula is a spine of mountains. And on top of that mountain, those mountains, is a little town. It's almost not even a town, called Catavina. And I woke up